So we're up to chapter 10 of Ecclesiastes. If you go ahead and open your Bibles in there. As you're doing that, we'll review what we covered last week. Psalm chapter 9, like so much of the book of Ecclesiastes, is a critique of wisdom. Now, on the one hand, as you read through Ecclesiastes, you see that wisdom is a good thing. And as you read through the rest of the wisdom literature in particular, it's a great thing. But what Ecclesiastes also deals with is kind of the exceptions of the general way wisdom works as we read in the book of Proverbs. Solomon is the wisest man of his time, is really taking a hard look at wisdom. And he's looking at the times that it doesn't work. It's not a fail-safe system. We saw two main points in chapter 9. First, that man's personal future is annulled. Verse 1 of chapter 9 says, and remember, this is well into Solomon's investigation concerning this question that he's asked, what profit is there for man, all of his activity he does under the sun? He says, I've taken all this to my heart and explain it that righteous men, wise men, and their deeds are in the hand of God. Man does not know whether it will be love or hatred. Anything awaits him. We can testify to that in our own lives. As much as we love wisdom, as much as we want to honor the Lord in the way that we walk, there's times that things don't work out either the way that we want them to or the way that we expect them to. Like the foolish man, Solomon says, the wise man will also die. All men go to the same place and all men die. All men end up in the grave. And he goes on to say in chapter 9, furthermore, the hearts of the sons of men are full of evil, and insanity is in their hearts throughout their lives. Now that's a tough thing to hear. It's the truth. It's true for the foolish man. It's true for the wise men that walk to honor the Lord as well. And that, of course, causes trouble for us. We're going to see that he talks more about that in chapter 10. Despite this reality, despite all the other things that come as a result of man's fall and the resulting curse, Solomon once again encourages us to enjoy life. We see these joy refrains that run throughout the book. And number 6 of 7 occurs in chapter 9, it's in verses 7 through 10. Go then, eat your bread in happiness, and drink your wine with a cheerful heart, for God has already approved your works. He has already ruled and designed what you will go through and how you will do your work. Let your clothes be white all the time in the sense of enjoying life. Not necessarily in this context in the sense of holiness, even though that's the way it often is in other places in Scripture. Here it's in the context of enjoyment. Let not oil be lacking on your head. Enjoy life with the woman whom you love all the days of your fleeting life, which is given to you under the sun. For this is your reward in life, in your toil in which you've labored under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, verily do it with all your might. There is no activity or planning or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol where you're going. It's not quite the same as seize the day, but similar in that God says, look, I'm in control. I design the circumstances of your lives. Live them out. See everything that you have as a gift from the Lord and enjoy life despite the difficulties of the curse. Now, the last part of chapter 9 deals with the truth that man's wisdom is limited. Time and events can overtake even wise living. Chapter 9, verse 12 says, moreover, man does not know his time. Like fish caught in a treacherous net and birds trapped in a snare, so the sons of men are ensnared in the evil time when it suddenly falls on them. And this echoes back to chapter 3. Remember, we saw there that God has made everything. He's appointed a time for everything. He's made everything appropriate in its time. The problem is we don't know those times. By God's design, He's made it this way so that we'll fear Him and we'll trust Him. Even though He's given us wisdom to live by, He doesn't want us to trust wisdom alone. He wants us to trust Him. Fear the Lord is the beginning and the end of wisdom. There's one say that in chapter 9 that despite the fact that the words of the wise heard in quietness are better than the shouting of a ruler among fools, and this is the place where he's going back to talk about the advantages of wisdom. Despite the fact that wisdom is better than weapons of war, one sinner destroys much good. He's going to pick up on that idea, that last statement. One sinner destroys much good, and develop that in chapter 10. We're going to see that a little foolishness can undo great outcomes of men's activity, even when they're performing wisdom. As we've seen throughout Ecclesiastes, wisdom is an essential tool. It's a good thing. It's something that God has given us to live by. I don't want us to lose sight of that. But it is vulnerable. And that's what Ecclesiastes is looking at. It's looking very critically at this gift of God of wisdom. It sees some of the shortfalls. It's not dissing it. It's not completely arguing against wisdom. Not at all. There's a lot of positive statements in the book of Ecclesiastes about wisdom. There's also just looking very openly and honestly at its limitations. I think about Solomon himself as one who serves as a perfect example of what he himself is talking about. He's reputed to be the wisest man of the East, stated that way in 1 Kings 4. But he himself fell to ruin when he disobeyed 3 simple commands concerning what the king of Israel was to be, or what he was not to do, actually. He was not to multiply silver, he was not to multiply horses, and he was not to marry foreign wives. Solomon ended up doing, at the height of his power, and really at the height of Israel's commonwealth, he ended up violating all 3 of those commands. That's spelled out in 1 Kings 10 and 11. And his foolishness in those areas had disastrous consequences, not only for himself, but also for the entire nation. So you can see that that little bit of foolishness overpowered an awful lot of wisdom. And we'll divide up chapter 10 into 2 sections. First is the principle that a little folly spoils wisdom's good outcomes, and then a number of illustrations that a little folly spoils wisdom's good outcomes. This is another chapter that's really kind of hard to tie together. The individual verses, most of them, are simple enough. They're a lot like Proverbs, and that you can understand them. Sometimes, though, the context of tying 2 verses in close context together and kind of understanding the argument of the book is difficult, but we're going to try to deal with that as best we can. So, a principle that a little folly spoils wisdom's good outcomes, and then first the analogy in verse 1 of chapter 10. Dead flies make a perfumer's oil stink, so a little foolishness is weightier than wisdom and honor. We have a similar saying to this in our own time. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch. Or another biblical saying is a little leaven leavens the whole lump. In this case, it's just a few small dead flies that can ruin an entire vat of a perfumer's oil. Now, this oil was something that was very valuable, very expensive. You can remember, even in Jesus' day, the woman who anointed his body before death, the disciples grumbled why that wasn't spent or given to the poor. The point here in Ecclesiastes is clear enough. As valuable as wisdom is, even when it's possessed in large quantities, it can be spoiled by just a little bit of folly. All right, let's look then at the principle in verses 2 and 3. The wise man's heart directs him toward the right, but the foolish man's heart directs him toward the left. Even when the fool walks along the road, his sense is lacking. He demonstrates to everyone that he is a fool. Notice again, like Solomon had said earlier in the book of Ecclesiastes, it's really our heart that is the issue. When we talk about heart, especially in a biblical context, we're talking about what one man has called our mission control center, our thinking, our feelings, our emotions, the thing that drives the way that we think and speak and act. That's why Solomon says what he says in Proverbs 4:23. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for from it flow the springs of life. In general, a man's heart will take him in one or two directions, just like we read this morning in Psalm 1. To the right is to a place of protection and blessing. This is the direction where the righteous go. To the left is the opposite of that. It's evil and wickedness and rebellion against God. These same 2 ways are very often contrasted in the book of Proverbs. It's the contrast of the righteous and the wicked, the wise and the foolish. In verse 3 of Ecclesiastes 10, Solomon says it's easy to detect from outward behavior whether a person has a wise or foolish heart. You can even tell that by how a person walks down the road. Now, when he talks about that here. I think he is talking about the road in a metaphorical sense. We've already seen that often the Bible speaks of the course of our lives as being traveling down a road and walking as a metaphor for living life. Now, I don't doubt that there's times where you can see somebody literally walking along the road and you can tell that they're a fool. I've seen some people like that. But I think Solomon is speaking more broadly here. His intention is broader than that. And as the Net Bible says, a fool's lack of wisdom is obvious to everyone, even when he's engaged in simple, ordinary actions of life. Okay, that's the analogy and the principle. Let's look now at an application in verse 4. If the ruler's temper rises against you, do not abandon your position, because composure allays great offenses. Earlier in Ecclesiastes and also in the book of Proverbs, you'll recall that Solomon gives us quite a bit of counsel about how to relate to the king. He says in chapter 8, verse 2, I say, keep the command of the king because of the oath before God. Do not be in a hurry to leave him. That is, don't be in a hurry to leave his presence, implying that your business is more important than his. Do not join in the evil matter, for he will do whatever he pleases. That's the key point. The king, especially in Solomon's day, had ultimate authority. He could decide to take your life, and he was free to do that. Since the word of the king is authoritative, who will say to him, what are you doing? He who keeps a royal command experiences no trouble, for a wise heart knows the proper time and procedure. And Solomon also gives us a number of proverbs that are along the same lines. Chapter 24 is Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 21. My son, fear the Lord and the king. Do not associate with those who are given to change. And I think there in that context, it's talking about rebelling against those in authority. Proverbs 25:6. Do not claim honor in the presence of the king. It's not your place to do that. The king is the one who has the honor. Do not stand in the place of great men. Proverbs 14:35. The king's favor is toward the servant who acts wisely. His anger is toward him who acts shamefully. And then 16:14. The wrath of the king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will appease it. Now, all that is said about relation or relating to a king. But the term in Ecclesiastes 10:4 can certainly include a king, but it's actually broader than that. It can include anyone in a government position that has authority over you. I think by extension and application for us, it can include people like your boss at work. For you kids, it can include your parents or your teachers at school. For your wives, it could even include your husbands. It's those that have authority over you by God's design. And in essence, Solomon is saying, don't fight foolishness with foolishness. Keep cool under pressure, even if the person that you're dealing with is not. Respond appropriately. Even though wisdom is shown to be honorable, both here in chapter 10 and elsewhere in Ecclesiastes, it also has great power and has the ability to overcome folly and to allay great offenses. Solomon now provides us several illustrations to make his case of this principle that a little folly spoils wisdom's good outcomes. We want to look at those now. First is that wisdom is spoiled in ironies. Solomon's used this term that's variously translated futility or vanity. Sometimes it's best understood in the context as irony. Look at verses 5 through 7. There's an evil I've seen under the sun, like an error which goes forth from the ruler. So I think the idea here is that you expect somebody who's attained a position of authority, who rules, to make good decisions. And when he doesn't do that, when he makes a mistake and then he issues out some rule based on that mistake, some decision, then we say, I think we automatically respond to that, that's just not right. Whether that comes from a government ruler, from our boss, we don't expect something that goes against what we think to be right. And I think we especially are more critical of people that are in authority for that reason. They've reached a place of authority and they have influence, and they make a bad decision that affects a lot of people. Well, in the same way, Solomon says in verse 6, Folly is set in many exalted places, while rich men sit in humble places. I've seen slaves riding on horses and princes walking like slaves on the land. Now, the point here is that that's not the way it's supposed to be. Wisdom is supposed to get you to a place of exaltation, not foolishness. We expect, for example, that the better employees in the company, through their competence, through their ability to do their jobs well, to advance over time, to advance up through the company, and ultimately become the vice president of the company. We don't expect the foolish person, the slacker, to get to that place of higher position within the company. And yet Solomon says he has seen that. He's seen things like this. Folly set in many high places. And he believed in me putting himself there. After all, he was at the height of his authority and position, he acted foolishly. Solomon says he's also seen rich men sit in humble places. Again, if you practice wisdom according to the book of Proverbs, it brings blessing, it brings prosperity, it even brings riches. And yet, it doesn't always work that way, Solomon says. Sometimes it's the very opposite. Verse 7 makes that same kind of contrast. On the one hand, Solomon says, I've seen the slaves riding on horses. That normally just didn't happen. Slaves didn't own horses. Horses were a luxury, and they certainly didn't ride on those horses. That was reserved for people of privilege. On the other hand, he says in verse 7, princes walking like slaves on the land. That also is just not done. You've seen the movies. Princes don't walk any distance. They're either riding an animal, a horse or a donkey, or they're riding in one of those sedan chairs that somebody else is carrying them. Their position kept them from having to walk. And yet Solomon says, well, there's been times when I've seen that is not that way. There's been exceptions. So to sum all this up, these are not the outcomes that one expects, but are more examples of futilities or ironies. And again, Solomon's been looking very closely at those throughout the book of Ecclesiastes. Ironies in life that go against the way that wisdom typically works. Next, Solomon looks at wisdom spoiled by accidents in verses 8 through 11. He gives 4 examples. We'll look at those briefly, just make sure we understand what he's talking about, and then we'll look at what's common to all of them. First is falling into a pit while digging. Chapter 10, verse 8a, he who digs a pit may fall into it. It's very likely here that he's talking about digging a pit for the purpose of making a cistern. A cistern was a means of capturing water, especially in Israel. There's a lot of limestone right under the initial layer of earth. And what they would do is dig down into that, make a large pit, and take advantage of the natural runoff of the water down into that pit and use that for their water supply. Secondly, being bitten unexpectedly by a serpent. A serpent may bite him who breaks through a wall. The idea here would be some demolition work, either on the interior of the house or an outside wall. While doing that, you break through a portion of the wall. William can probably testify this is a building house. Sometimes you do that, there's something unexpected on the other side. You cut into something that you didn't know was there. In this case, you break through the wall, and this little guy's on the other side, he bites you. It's a serpent. Thirdly, you could be injured by a stone while quarrying. He who quarries stones may be hurt by them. Stone would be a very common building material in Solomon's day. They had to cut those stones out first before they could make the building. And it's dangerous work in the sense that it wouldn't take much for one of those stones either to break, or to fly off, and maybe hit you in the eye, or to fall on your foot and hurt you. It's an easy thing to get hurt doing. And then finally, you could be endangered by splitting logs. He who splits logs may be endangered by them. Again, that's something that we still do today, either with an axe or a log splitter. Cut with a chainsaw and also be endangering yourself. Solomon's point in all these is even as you do something that's good, honest labor, perhaps for the benefit of your family or for others, and even if you plan to do that project with wisdom, you can still get an unexpected bad outcome due to what we would call an accident. something that you don't anticipate and don't intend to happen. A wise man will take this into account and he'll take appropriate caution, knowing that these kinds of things could happen, and yet they can still happen. It's not fail-safe. You can do the best that you can to make sure these things don't happen. They can still happen. Let's look now at some helpful response in wisdom. First is sharpen the axe before splitting the wood. I think this relates back to what he's just said in one way. There's a little bit of a turn, too, just to give some advice about the advantage of wisdom, some counsel. The axe is dull, and he does not sharpen its edge, then he must exert more strength. Wisdom has the advantage of giving success. That's a very important wisdom principle in general. Think about what you're doing to do things in the right order. You can take a dull axe and split wood with it, and it'll work, but it takes a lot more effort. And what wisdom does in all of life is say, it's the best way to do this. Let's think through this a little bit ahead of time before we actually start doing it to get the best outcome that we can. Secondly, charm the snake before he bites. I don't normally think of people charming snakes in Solomon's day. This could be something proverbial, but the idea again is do things in the right order. Wisdom does that. It considers the possibilities beforehand, it makes a plan, then it executes it for a successful outcome. All right, let's look now at wisdom spoiled by foolish speech and labor. All wisdom literature ultimately gets around to the issue of the tongue and of speech. And there's a real need for that. James in the New Testament, which is often called the Proverbs of the Old Testament, of the New Testament, but no one can tame the tongue. It's a restless evil and full of deadly poison. And Jesus himself gives very sobering warning. I get a little bit of a chill, frankly, every time I read this passage. This is in Matthew 12:36. I say to you that every careless word that men shall speak, they shall render account for in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. Our speech, our tongues, can easily negate wisdom. It can spoil a good outcome, something that I constantly be on guard against. And again, these verses of Ecclesiastes sound a lot like similar ones on speech in the book of Proverbs. We won't look at examples this morning. We've done that in the past. Verse 12 says that words from the mouth of a wise man are gracious, while the lips of the fool consume him. And in light of the parallelism that's so prominent in the book of Proverbs, it might be better to translate that verse as words from the mouth of a wise man gain him favor, while the lips of the fool consume him. This is an interesting play on physical anatomy here. The last half of the verse brings a contrast. The last half brings the contrast of the lips of the fool consuming himself. Now, if you think about it, our lips or our mouths are made to consume food. We're made to consume things that sustain our lives. No other part of the body can do that. But here, the lips of the fool consume him. That is, they lead to his downfall. The point is that his mouth becomes his own worst enemy. Psalm's going to go on to expound on that for a couple of verses. Verse 13 says that the beginning of the fool's talking is folly, and the end of it is wicked madness. Things just go from bad to worse. At least partially because the fool cannot keep his mouth shut or control what he says. But what is the fool's response to that? Verse 14, yet the fool multiplies words. He fails to recognize that even despite the bad consequences that come his way, that it's his own speech that's the issue. He just continues talking and continues to reveal his foolishness in the process. The last part of verse 14 says, no man knows what will happen, and who can tell him what will come after him. Now, we've seen that same statement in different places in Ecclesiastes. In this context, it's a little bit different meaning. I think by context here, he's talking about the fact that foolish people often do think that they know what the future holds. They're happy to spout out what they think they know, but in reality, they're blowing a lot of hot air. No man fool. Verse 15 says that the toil of a fool so wearies him that he doesn't know even how to go to a city. Now this is a tough one to interpret. Somebody that understood it saying that the counsel of fools is not to be trusted in the sense of if you ask one for directions to a location, you can't trust what he tells you. Others have offered similar kinds of proverbs in an attempt to explain this one. For example, this is the first time I heard this one, but if you put a fool on an escalator, you can still get lost. Or talk about a person that doesn't have sense even enough to come in out of the rain. But however you understand the part about going to a city, the basic meaning is clear. A fool doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut, and his counsel is not to be trusted. He doesn't know how to work according to wisdom. Let's look now at wisdom spoiled by royal eating habits in verses 16 through 19. Verse 16, 17 says, Woe to you, O land, whose king is a lad, and whose princes feast in the morning. Now, first blush, you wonder, you can say, there's nothing wrong with being a lad, right? There's nothing wrong with eating in the morning. But in this context, the idea is a king who is young and inexperienced. He doesn't know what he's doing. And he feasts early in the morning, more than just eating a simple breakfast. He's certainly also would be drinking wine and putting himself in a position where he can't rule properly. And the point is that the land over which that kind of king rules suffers as a contrast. As a consequence, I should say. By contrast, blessed are you, O land, whose king is of nobility. That is, you're talking about a different person who's grown up within the kingdom and knows how he's supposed to behave as a result, a more experienced man. And whose princes eat at the appropriate time. And again, not to condemn the eating in the morning, but not feasting the way that you would later in the day. The more appropriate time to do that is in the evening. And for the appropriate purpose, for strength and not for drunkenness. So the lesson here is that wise and diligent rulers make a big difference in the country's fate. Listen to Isaiah chapter 3, verses 1 through 5, as an illustration of that principle. This is a passage in which describes the Lord's judgment on Judah. For behold, the Lord God of hosts is going to remove from Jerusalem and Judah both supply and support, the whole supply of bread and the whole supply of water. The mighty man and the warrior, the judge and the prophet, the diviner and the elder, the captain of 50 and the honorable man, the counselor and the expert artisan, and the skillful enchanter. And here's the verse that matches up with what we're looking at in Ecclesiastes. I will make mere lads their princes, and capricious children will rule over them. And the people will be oppressed, each one by another, and each one by his neighbor. The youth will storm against the elder, and the inferior against the honorable. And verse 18 seems to be another illustration of this at the personal rather than the national level. Ecclesiastes 10:18. Through indolence the rafters sag, and through slackness the house leaks. In other words, lack of diligence has its consequences. The commentator named Eaton says, if attention is not paid to the everyday details of life, the results become a crippling liability. Again, that's true on a small scale and on a large scale. It may be that he's just using that example of a leaking and sagging roof to illustrate the principle of think about the consequences at the national level if that same lack of diligence is used there. Now, verse 19 of chapter 10 is another tough one. Again, it's tough because of understanding how it fits in the context. Men prepare a meal for enjoyment, and wine makes life merry, and money is the answer to everything. Some commentators take this more positively and see it as a reference back to the advantages of diligence, and saying that the results, the benefits of diligence, are food and drink and money for the necessities of life, all of which come from hard work. Others take it negatively and tie it to the attitude of the fool in the preceding context, basically seeing it as their attitude towards life. That's one I'm more inclined to. It's a difficult one to place in context. Verse 20, finally, wisdom spoiled by a little bird. Furthermore, in your bedchamber do not curse the king, and in your sleeping rooms do not curse the rich man. For a bird of the heavens will carry the sound, and the winged creature will make the matter known. We can summarize that by saying, watch what you say, even in the most private of places, because it will often become known to a wider audience, and it could destroy you, ultimately, depending on what you say and who finds out about it. It's interesting to note that the bird here is the third of three small things, and again, this is Solomon's main point in the chapter, three small creatures that can ruin a man's activity. Dead flies can ruin a perfumer's vat. A snake can ruin a demolition project. A little bird can ruin a man's life. Let's pray together. Father, you've given us these short, pithy proverbs as a way, and you've given many of them through Solomon as a way to encapsulate wisdom. Even the way that they're stated helps us to remember them. It helps us to understand sound wisdom that we can exercise in life. It helps us in a practical way of putting the fear of the Lord to proper use, to proper application in our lives. We just pray that you help us do that. Help us to, on the one hand, recognize that wisdom is indeed a great thing. We should search for it as for silver. We should take to heart the wisdom you supplied to us, especially in the book of Proverbs. But we should also consider the other side, the exceptions that you pointed out, both in the book of Job and the book of Ecclesiastes, and recognize that ultimate wisdom is fearing you, recognizing that all of our circumstances, all of the things that we go through in this life, particularly as your children, you have superintended, you have ordained. And even when we face difficulty, we can still rejoice. Lord, I pray that we take that principle this morning and just let it influence the way that we think and the way that we act, both in this coming week and through the rest of our lives. I pray that in Christ's name.